Have you seen a butterfly? Yeah, you must have seen. But what is it? Is it a fly wrapped in a piece of butter? Certainly not. Then why is the word butter used as a prefix? Well, it's hard to say definitively what those long ago English speakers were thinking in naming of the insect such a thing, but it's believed that the name may have referenced a belief that butterflies are witches in the shape of butterflies stole milk and butter. So it is a misnomer, wrong or inaccurate use of a name or term.
Have you seen this picture before? Where is the famous structure located? In Singapore. And weird to say that the word Singapore itself is a misnomer. Singapore comes from a Malay word for lion city. In fact, it's believed that no lions have ever naturally lived in Singapore. It's believed that in 1299, when Sang Nila Utama named Singapore, he mistakenly thought that a tiger he saw was a lion. It's a misnomer. Recently, I was thinking about the planets that might have a life like on Earth. Surely it is not in our solar system, then where could it be? The answer is simple, no one knows. But we know the distance of our sun to Alpha Centauri, 4.3 light years. A light year is a distance traveled by light in a single year, 5.8 trillion miles or 9.4 trillion kilometers. So despite how it sounds, when we talk about things being light years away, we're not talking about an enormously vast amount of time, but rather the enormously large distance. Again, it's a misnomer. These light years have vast importance in the field of astronomy and so in physics. But in Newtonian physics, everything is different. The most remarkable thing in it is apple. Yes, the apple that fell due to what is known as the gravitational pull of the Earth. But what if there was an orange in place of the apple? Well, then certainly there would not have been any difference because you look in Old English. Oranges were considered apples. In fact, the word apple was used to describe any fruit in general. For instance, dates were finger apples and bananas were apples of paradise. Cucumbers were earth apples. In French, the word for apple acted similarly, giving us earth apple for the potato. In the Middle Ages, the old French word for orange meant apple of the orange tree. And the Swedish word for orange still means apple from China because oranges originated in the East. But this leads us to an even bigger question. What came first, orange, the fruit, or orange, the color? Well, the answer is neither. The tree came first. The word orange comes from the Sanskrit word for the tree that these fruits grow on. Before being introduced to these fruits, the English-speaking world called this color not orange but yellow-red. The first recorded use of the word orange to refer to the color instead of the fruit wasn't until 1512. So the color was named after the fruit, which was named after the tree that it came from. Names are one of the most controversial things and more often very confusing. It is because of Stigler's law, our tendency to name things not after who discovered them, but instead to simply honor someone else. Alois Alzheimer gets the credit for describing in the early 1900s a degenerative disease that bears his name, but the real credit for first discovering the illness probably goes to Dr. Beljahow, who first linked plaque and dementia in 1887, but is now so forgotten that we couldn't even find records of his first name. Edmund Halley did some crucial work computing the orbit and period of his famous Halley's Comet, but its actual discoverer is probably an unknown Greek living in the 3rd century BCE. Freeman Dyson popularized the concept of Dyson spheres as a form of mega-engineering around stars, but he has repeatedly pointed out that early sci-fi author Olaf Stapledon deserves the credit for coming up with the Dyson spheres. Sometimes we get entire regions wrong. The Arabic numerals we use every day actually originated in India, but Europeans gave them that name because they were first introduced to the numerals in the 10th century by Arabs from North Africa. Venn diagrams are cool. They were named after John Venn in the 1880s, although Leonhard Euler introduced them in 1768. What about Avogadro's constant? Well, it was not discovered by Avogadro. He proposed that such a number could exist, but it was a different guy who discovered the exact figure. You might be familiar with the Pythagorean theorem or the Pythagoras theorem, but the Babylonians discovered it long ago before he did, so it should have been a Babylonian theorem. Some common old words are still used as a misnomer. This is an anacronym. Like the lead in pencils is made of graphite and clay, not lead, graphite was originally believed to be lead ore, but this is now known not to be the case. Blackboards can be black, green, red, blue, or brown, and the sticks of chalk are no longer made of chalk but of gypsum. Telephone numbers are usually referred to as being dialed, although rotary phones are now rare. Tinfoil is almost always aluminum, whereas tin cans made for the storage of food products are made from steel with thin tin plating. In golf, the clubs commonly referred to as woods are usually made of metal. Here are some straight up misnomers, and they are my favorites. This is not Big Ben. Nothing about this is officially called Big Ben. Its real name is the Elizabeth Tower. People often say that the bell inside is named Big Ben, but even that's not true. The main bell inside Elizabeth Tower is officially called the Great Bell. The Great Bell's nickname is Big Ben, and we have since applied that nickname for a bell to the entire tower. Peanuts are not nuts, they're legumes. And coconuts are not nuts, they're drupes. Stone fruit like cherries, apricots, peaches, etc. French fries, as they're all known over the world, are not from France but were probably named by the British and American soldiers during the First World War, who discovered them where they were likely invented in Belgium. Now, since French was the official language of the Belgian army, the soldiers may have mistakenly thought they were in France. The funny bone is not a bone, the phrase refers to the ulnar nerve. French horns originated in Germany, not in France. Hamburgers are not named after ham, the pork product, they're named after Hamburg, Germany, probably because of Hamburg citizens who emigrated to the US and brought their minced beef patty, a Hamburg steak, with them. And Greenland isn't Greenland at all. It's believed that about 1,000 years ago, Eric the Red named it Greenland, hoping that the name would trick settlers into coming over. Similarly, Iceland is not full of ice or snow, but rather it is full of greenery. The two similar countries with opposite names in it. Talking about countries and the things they export to other countries, they usually do it by ships with a mass carrying capacity, and it is called cargo. Whereas anything delivered through a car or any land vehicle is called shipment. Jellyfishes and starfishes are not even close to the fish family. They biologically belong to the Echinodermata and Cnidaria phyla respectively. Skeuomorphs are also a must-look on features of the misnomers. These are design elements that today are merely ornamental, even though in the past originally they had a purpose. For instance, the calendar icon on your mobile phone has nothing to do with the old desktop calendar, but still it displays it like that. Another is the phone logo. On a modern mobile phone, the icon for the phone call is shaped like an old phone. The icon for email shaped like an old snail mail envelope. If you know any skeuomorph like this one, then comment down on the comment box below. However, most of the skeuomorphs lie in the digital world, but no one really spots it. People are really comfortable with the type of icon they have. Another is the sound of the camera shutter whenever you click any picture. This sound makes us feel that we have really clicked on image. Skeuomorphism has been a very useful concept of design. These ideas attract the people towards it and are a useful business technique. The recycle bin of our computers resembles a trash bin, but all is virtual and we don't need to have that type of icon. If we look a little deeper, then you are also a skeuomorph. You change over the years since you were born and change almost completely. But still, your name is not changed. Do we really need the skeuomorphic designs? The answer is not really, but in some aspects, yes. In fact, these have helped us to adapt to the digital world mainly. Being in the digital world, there's a lot of stuff on the internet to look upon. You can subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos like this in the future. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, share the video with your dear ones as a wonderful gift. Please check out the link of the YouTube channel mentioned in the description box if you want to know more about the voiceover artist. You can directly support us by subscribing to our channel and sharing our videos.